Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Abalde. We are back again on another edition of this program here on your favorite channel. How are you doing? How have you been yesterday? And thank you very much for always following this program and following QTV's program, especially yesterday. The people followed the state of affairs. Very interesting interaction there between Aliou Cisse and Momodou Sabally. I watched some of their videos this morning. I mean, when Sabally was accusing a particular platform of being a UDP platform, these are political statements sometimes. But thank you very much. And Mr. Momodou Mboj is our co-host today.
Yeah.
Mr. Mboj, you have really finally found yourself on the co-host.
What could I do? She should have been June, but she couldn't make it this morning. So.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. So no other person except Aliou Cisse is our newspaper review guest. Morning, Aliou.
Morning, Balne. Thank you so much for having me. Always a pleasure sharing.
It's good to have you here. I mean, what we'll do, we'll go straight to what we have because we have a limited time. To do our newspaper review. And later we'll be talking to the Gambia Red Cross. They celebrated recently the Red Crescent Day and 2025. So Abdullah Bah, branch officer, KMC, will be here. Abdullah Gay, information and education chairperson, KMC branch. They will be on the program and we'll be talking about the significance of this day. So on that note, what we'll be doing, we'll go through the African proverb. Even an experienced man will try something new. That's what the African code said. I mean, even an experienced man will try something new. Very interesting, Mr. Mob.
Absolutely. In one line, experience doesn't mean that you stop learning. One line, that's really how I distill, that's my distillation of the meaning. So absolutely, it doesn't matter how experienced you are, still there will be new things. There will be things that you do not know. Having knowledge doesn't mean that you know them all. You can never know everything at all. It doesn't exist. So absolutely, that willingness to encounter the unfamiliar, isn't it? Moving away from your comfort zone. That's the new thing, isn't it? That's the space for growth.
He who knows and make himself he knows not is a fool. He who knows not and make himself he knows is a bigger fool. I mean, we say that all the time.
Exactly, because I mean, the more you think you know it all, the more you begin to realize you haven't even started. I mean, like Mr. Moy said.
Absolutely.
No one has monopoly of knowledge. I mean, in as much as you think you are doing well, I mean, things, there's always room for improvement. We continue learning. I mean, knowledge, no one can finish knowledge. So obviously, I mean, it's a continuous process.
That's it. But this is really how it is interesting to apply it to our world now, because we've just talked about that willingness to try something unfamiliar, isn't it? Hence the new. But have we looked at how social media works? Social media creates silos. So it is important for us to know how these things work. So these silos, you're just being, you're put in a bubble so that you just hear all the stuff or see all the stuff that reinforce, your pre-existing beliefs and all the rest of it. So you're not exposed to something unfamiliar. You are not exposed to anything that will challenge your position. It's an extremely dangerous world. Growth wouldn't happen in that. It is too incestuous for us to be productive of anything.
I mean, before you grow, you need to move away from your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
I mean, you see, Mr. Momodou Mboj, I mean, many people tend to think comfort zones are success. I mean, you've made it, you've arrived. It's important for you to move. It's important for you to...
And that's the more reason that, especially our generation, I mean, we don't want people that will tell us, hey, no, what you did was wrong. I mean, all we want to hear or see is people clapping for us, telling us, oh, good, good, good. But the moment someone said, oh, I think that was wrong, you begin to have that, concept, oh, he or she doesn't like me, when that's not the case. So I think that also brings us back to what Mr. Moy talking about, the comfort zone. I mean, moving out away from the comfort zone to, take up new challenges that will, help you grow. And
exactly. I mean, it's important to learn something new. It's important.
It's good. Personally, I love it, especially after doing a program and I get certain feedbacks. It makes me feel like, yeah, I mean, and it helps because you improve as time goes on. But once you do something and all you're getting is just positive feedbacks, then maybe certainly, okay, something is wrong somewhere else. But sometimes it's good to have the divergent views, people sharing their thoughts and feedbacks with you. That helps you improve. But unfortunately, some people see it differently, and it doesn't.
There can also be feedbacks that are positive.
Yeah.
To encourage a person to do more.
Exactly. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Maybe you try something and someone tells you, okay, it's good, but next time just add this. Next time do this. Improve on this.
Some people are very constructive in the way they give their feedbacks. I mean, when they give you feedbacks, you understand that really this is someone who really appreciates what you're doing, but also is encouraging you to do more and giving you areas where you should improve. Because like you said, experience is the best teacher. For example, if I do a program and then after this morning, and then Mr. Moy will call us and say, I think next time you do it this way. He's talking from experience.
Well, in fact, he's just now, he's talking about, an earlier preparation on something.
Yeah.
And in fact, that is coming almost a month.
Exactly.
He's telling you to prepare.
Yes, to start preparing for it.
So that is what it is. Exactly. So you are watching QTV this morning. We're broadcasting from the Gambia, West Africa. And I am Ibrahim Abalde. And today we'll be taking a look at some of the stories making headlines as usual. And of course, we'll also bring you just a snippet of the state of affairs, the discussion between Aliou Ceesay and Modou Sabally. Later, as you know, the president will be addressing the nation on, the recent happening.
They haven't confirmed the time yet.
They haven't confirmed, so it is tentative. It can change at any time, but we are expecting it as well. So Aliou Ceesay will take a short break, and after the break, then we will play what we call that insert from State of Affairs. We'll be right back.
Kiumoni arti webi na fitoragol no yabi tenon kadi no mo'i kiumoni awawa wadde piji din fowu kala ko wonda wattu kala awawa hendade mbudi madin e o kiumoni app kesong awawa nattinde mbudi madun yaltina soda credit soda kiu power soda ko falada tenon kadi wawa en yobude himbe e ko heewi ida wawi kadi nuldude kiumoni yoba bilji madin tenon kadi hendoda mbudi ko yasi nulda himbe kadi mbudi fi na fitoragol dun no webi yahu ka Play Store madun ka App Store fi wawa fi hebugol hen ko laabi noddu Kiwmoney customer care e 133 Kiwmoney suñu kalpe minen nguditi lawol ngol si wobbe jokki Kiwmoney e muruntanan ne koteke
who is the special advisor to the president. Saps, good to have you on the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Saps, it seems the youths are not happy.
But the youths are actually very, very, very happy.
You think so?
Absolutely, without a doubt. For once, you have an open democratic space where young people know they can protest either in accordance with the law or not and still go home and sleep and nobody would disappear. Nobody would be tortured. It's alhamdulillah, it's a huge achievement. This is the new Gambia we were cherishing. We've got it. It's just like when the judicial protest happened and, some people were there, the youths are not happy. I said, well, the youths wanted to protest. They were allowed to protest. They protested and they got what they wanted. They are happy.
Interesting. I mean, your views are very different, I will argue, to what they were in 2021 to 2023.
Regarding what?
When many will say, you were a strong critic of the Barrow administration, in fact, accusing of corruption and bad governance. In fact, in 2022, you were arrested. For saying in a video that President Barrow will be removed in power before the 2023 local government elections. Now, people say instead of writing against the government, you have become part of them. To start with, what happens to you?
Well, Aliou, I was opposing the government. I took a decision to oppose the government. Throughout that period, there was constant, persistent engagement that the knowledge and experience I have are better utilized within the government than making noise outside. after several considerations, both exogenous and endogenous, I took a decision to join the government proudly and with dignity, without any regrets. My job now is not to criticize, it's to advise, it's to contribute positively. That is it. It's not a miracle. It's happened here before. Sheriff Mustafa Diba, who is a legend in our politics, criticized Yahya Jammeh, ended up being a part of his government. MC Cham, Opusada da Kairaba Jawara, now his name is synonymous with the PPP. Come on, let the game continue.
Let the game continues.
Absolutely.
I mean, exactly. I remember also in 2023, you posted on your social media account.
So he said, let the game continue. Well, actually, for him, he got a divergent view, as you ask him. Okay, what the people are thinking, the notion they have, and the way you are approaching this thing, you know, is holistically different. You know, the youths, whether they are happy or not. But outside, people think the youths are not happy. But to him, the youths are happy, Aliu.
That's Savali for you. I mean, it was a great interview. I enjoyed the entire conversation that I had with him. I mean, that shows you who Savali is. I mean, he stands by what he said and his beliefs. And for him, yes, he believed the youths are happy, even though some youths were out there protesting and saying all sort of things. But that's Savali for you. I mean, he is that type. He stands by what he said and what he believes in. Unless that changes, that was it. When he was in UDP, I mean, whatever he said, it was something that he believed in. And now he has cross-carpeted the NPP. Yeah, he believed, I mean,
but do you think
all that he said was...
the people are going to listen to him again from cross-carpeting and trying to say other things again? Who's going to believe him? I think that's where the problem lies. I mean, people are not taking him seriously anymore.
Well, people will believe him because, I mean, people believed him when he was in UDP. Whatever he said, you know, those in UDP believed him. And now the NPP, whatever he said, they're going to believe him. So that's politics for you. It depends where you belong. I mean, in the camp that you belong at that particular time, they will believe whatever you said. And that's what is happening. But then, like you said, I mean, it's politics for you. I know Mr. Moch wants to...
Mr. Moch, what is your perspective in this case?
You know, when I listened to him there, to be quite honest to him, he made an interesting point. There was a protest. Yes, the police didn't approve it. Well, it went ahead anyway. But there were no disappearances. Under Jammeh, possibly you wouldn't dare do that. Maybe I would have asked him then, well, you were part of that administration. Whether he had ever personally taken responsibility for his role in that administration.
Exactly.
Because in saying what he just said,
very important.
Yeah, in saying what he just said there, he is really casting that administration in a very, very dark and sinister, you know, light, isn't it? To contrast it from today. Now we've got democracy. So he's really demonized that era, and then to make the Barrow administration much better. Absolutely, that is all true. But the problem we face now, isn't it, Ali, really? We've seen a pattern from the police. It is this weaponizing this power to give you permit or not. It seems that whenever there is a cause that appears to be critical of the government, the police are sort of reluctant to give you a permit. That is the danger, the vulnerability. That's really, that's really the problem is. Because more generally, when it comes to human rights and all the rest of it, recently, World Press Freedom Day, we are ranked, what, 10th or
10th
so?
And 58 in the world.
Yes, yeah. So that's not bad, just as we were last year 10th, this year 10th as well. So more generally, things have improved, but there are new vulnerabilities that we must be alert to.
Well, I think as much as things are sometimes not going the way everybody wants. I mean, the democracy tolerance under President Adama Barrow, that everybody needs to accept. You just mentioned it. I mean, during Jammeh'S time, you will disappear without a trace. So it's important for us to give the devil its due. If you see youngsters are able to go out and say, okay, this is what we want, and it's produced, then it means the people got the power. And Adama Barrow and his cabinet, they recognize that. You know, I think, Ali, that needs to be recognized.
Definitely. I mean, we all know what what was the, the realities, I mean, under the former government, and seeing what is happening now, definitely we all have to, give credit to the current government, I mean, for actually, giving citizens, I mean, that right to express themselves. But like Mr. Mbok said, I mean, the issue of this Public Order Act is something that they should even review. I mean, I saw a press release. Is it the National Center for Civic Education or Council for Civic Education is calling for the review of this Public Order Act. So I think it's something that they should consider, because it's normal for people to go out and express their views and say what they don't like, which is normal in any democratic society.
Exactly. So let's move on. We have another headline here. Former BCC CEO admits financial misconduct. I think they're talking about the local government commission that is currently ongoing. The Banjul City Council CEO admits financial misconduct here. I mean, on camera.
It's quite interesting if you've been following the commission. I don't know whether you are following it, but the commission is getting more and more interesting. And then we are getting certain testimonies that most of us never thought such is happening in our councils. Because what happened is that most of us, our entire focus has always been on the central government. But when it comes to the local councils, we've not been giving so much attention to what was happening within the councils. And this commission has really revealed, I mean, quite damning stuffs within these councils in terms of financial management and all those things. And then, well, I hope, I mean, moving forward, I mean, we are going to see much more accountability as far as the councils are concerned. And the issue of BCC is quite disturbing. The revelations that are coming out from the BCC are quite disturbing. I mean, in terms of how they have been managing their affairs within the council.
Yeah, big time. We used to watch in the office the live broadcasts of the commission on local government authorities. Extraordinary, the sort of the institutional dysfunction, isn't it? When it comes to financial management, sort of procedure was discretionary. Whether to follow procedure, that was merely discretionary, as it were. They could just ignore it. But this is it. This is the wider institutional dysfunction that we see. Organizationally, things are very, very interesting. Just look at the report, hence the whole thing that triggered the protest. Just look at it. According to the report, look at the behavior of public officials. Quite staggering, isn't it? We know that now that is what the challenge is. Exactly. You know what I mean? No more the usual way.
Of doing things and just, perhaps thinking, nothing will come out of it. I mean, it's Gambia, they'll just make noise, 1 week is over, and then people move on to something else. I think,
we think that is really what the challenge is. And we are seeing it all over the place. So BCC, it appears to be a reflection of what's going on, what is sort of like a national malaise.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I'm seeing on the Fourier newspaper, I mean, 3 headlines carrying Mayor Low's, stories. First, her picture, Mayor Low says, no standing order at BCC since 2018, Mayor Low says. And another headline is saying, Mayor Low, I don't think mayors have power. And another headline also saying, Bacheli blames BCC mayor for illegal procurement as $600,000 trade deal unfolds. 3 of these headlines are all talking about BCC and Mayor Low.
I think even for a long time, people have been seeing this new idea in a way of these councils having CEOs. The CEO and the mayor. You know that relationship, you don't know how is it going to work in many ways. They'll tell you CEO, administrative, mayor, this like you really cannot separate the two. Really.
They are more or less the same thing.
You're creating more complicated bureaucracy, really. It wouldn't be efficient.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Not really.
So I think, Mr. Momodou Mboj, we need to close the newspaper segment
The
here.
headline: the president is going to address the nation tonight.
Exactly, at the
It's
National Assembly.
is very.
And QTV will be there live covering it.
No, actually, the president is going to make a different statement. I don't think it's going to be at the National Assembly.
Exactly.
Actually, the parliament is
different.
just an extraordinary session just to discuss.
Exactly.
This whole protest and whatever surrounding the sale of Jammeh'S assets. But the president also is going to address the nation tonight, hopefully, which is very important. I'm quite happy that he is listening to what people are asking for, and he's responding. Yesterday they convened a emergency cabinet meeting where these issues were discussed in there, and then today he's going to address the nation, which is, for me, is important because at least it's going to reassure Gambians that he is committed to transparency and also trying to maintain or build that public trust, because it's important. His complete silence, is not going to help this situation, and it is good that he is coming out to address the nation on this issue, and I'm sure all of us are waiting to hear what the president will tell us.
Sometimes, you see, dialogue is very important.
It's important.
From high office, wherever you are. When there are issues, the only thing that can solve it is dialogue. Because, who are we just to understand what's going on? Sometimes you don't know what is going on in your mind. You need to tell us what's going on, how it happened. So it's important. That's a bold step, and we are looking forward to that. Probably, something positive will come out of it.
So I'm quite hopeful something positive will come out of it, and it probably even with recommendations as to what will be the next steps as far as this whole saga or whatsoever is concerned. But it's quite commendable that he is coming out to address the nation.
Exactly. So thank you, Aliou Cissé, for at least reviewing some of these stories with us. I know you are a very busy man. And
you are much more busy.
You have
than
other
me.
things to
and Mr. Mboj as well. I'm not right now. Mr. Mboj is waiting for the coffee and all those things. So
that's our top journal. So we need to acknowledge that. So thank you very much, viewers. We'll take a short break, and after the break, then we'll be talking to the Gambia Red Cross on Red Crescent Day. Abdullah Bah will be here, and Abdullah Gay. They will be taking us through. So on that note, we'll be right back after the break.
Money imurundana ne koteke anila ni mobile app sone yaringo alanna yata ndu ise kuol bekeno ibeda woda wati ise munafanno ila kodola anin Q-Money la ni mobile app kuto ise kodo dundino ye kodo fintinde ise credit ko sanno ye Q-Power sang ye fengol sang ndu fanan ise mol jono anin ku jamalu ise Q-Money kino yela bilol jo ndu fanan bantala banko se kodo kiyeno ise kodo fanan kino do kotenge kurke munafanyina a download sign Play Store anin App Store ni lataka kusere Q-Money customer care commandi 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe ntolle nga silo walang dole mol noma.
Taking a break isn't about stopping. It's about recharging for the next stage. Welcome to our oasis.
Powered by Africa, Oris Energies.
Q-Money delsina ak sen mobile app bu bes bi orna gawna te yit mun nga ko jëfandikoo pour def ci lo bëgga fo mun di ne waxtu bu ne mun nga jot sa xaalis ak Q-Money mobile app bu bes bi mun nga dugal xaalis génné xaalis jënd ci crédit jënd ci Q-Power jënd lo bëgga ak yu bari mun nga ci yónnee Q-Money fay sa bill si jot xaalis bitim réew yónnee xaalis ci noo ko bëggee looy def yomba na downloadal app bi léegi ca Play Store bu dul loolu App Store pour nga door pour am cellulaire callal Q-Money customer care si 133 Q-Money suñu kalpe ñoo xaali yoon wi ñeneen toppa.
Running low on data? Need to stay connected without spending too much? Get 1 GB for just $50. Yes, only $50. Whether you're streaming videos, scrolling through social media, messaging friends, or catching up on the latest news, this offer has got you covered. At home, on the move, or just in need of a quick top-up, it's the perfect data deal for you. And the best part, it's valid for 2 full days. Don't miss out. Dial *303# and choose option 7 to grab your 1 GB data for just $50. It's affordable, reliable, just what you need. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunibus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello.
Oryx Service. Top teamwork for top performance.
Powered by Africa. Oryx Energies.
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Obalde. We are back after that break. You know, Aliou Cissé, made a very good newspaper reviewer here. We dealt with quite very interesting headlines, although it was a very short span of time, but we were able to delve into a lot of things. Yeah, so now Red Crescent Day 2025, we have Abdoulaye Gay, Information and Education Chairperson, KMC branch. Mr. Gay, welcome to QTV this morning.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Is this your first time on this program?
Yes, that is my first time, but not the first time for me to be in QTV.
On QTV, okay, all right. So it's good to have you here. Can you please take us through, before we talk about this Red Crescent Day, but let's talk about your branch. What do you do at the KMC branch as a Red Cross member?
Thank you very much. As the Youth Information, Education and Communication Chairperson of Carnegie Municipality Red Cross Branch, on the KM we do a lot of things. Part of the things that we do mostly right now is to work towards ensuring that we uplift our volunteers so that they will be able to respond to humanitarian challenges. Because in as much as we have a lot of youthful volunteers, around 7,000 to 10,000 volunteers within the Carnegie Municipality, what we do mostly, we focus on first aid. That is where we go for coverages. We also focus on disaster, in responding disaster in vulnerable communities. Mm-hmm. We also respond on certain areas, like for example in football coverages within the Carnegie Municipality. The other aspect also, we focus on different engagement, like for example gender issues also. Mm-hmm. And we also focus on uplifting our volunteers on entrepreneurship. Just recently we conducted entrepreneurship training for our volunteers. We also focus on uplifting our volunteers. Of recent, we had also done a secretariat training where we train some of our volunteers on basic writing skills so that they will be able to respond to challenges and administrative that they will be facing in the future. So these are some of the things that we do as branch. Mm-hmm.
Okay, why is this important? I mean, a strategic office situated in KMC. What are some of the most, things that you respond to?
Most of the things that we respond to under the Carnegie Municipality, being one of the most vulnerable areas within the jurisdiction of this country, it's disaster. We know KM is prone of disaster, most especially areas like Talinding and the list goes on. It's sometimes very difficult. But as volunteers, we always ensure that at least we train our people on disaster so that they will be able to respond whenever need be. So it's important for us to build that capacity within the volunteers so that the moment they respond, they will be able to know how to respond, the support that they are supposed to give to those particular communities. Mm-hmm. And they also give them the psychosocial support that is needed, because if somebody is affected, that person will need psychosocial support so that the person will at least be able to start on something. Where necessary, if people also, we also have what we call migrations also. We are restoring migration link. Under the Red Cross, we limit ourselves, because Red Cross, we don't say migration is bad or it's good. We only focus on the humanitarian aspect of migration. If you go to KM, we have a migration unit where we launch people there for them to stay for minimum period of 3 days so that we will be able to help them a link to their different communities. But basically, these are some of the things that we do. Under the first aid also, we train our volunteers to be able to respond to first aid. Because Gambia Red Cross Society have a policy, and the policy to ensure that at least every compound we have 2 first aiders, so that in times of emergency, we will be able to respond quickly before having, before being able to at least see a qualified medical doctor. Because certain emergencies arise when there is no particular individual in the family to help. Sometimes it's always difficult for the person before the person will be able to recover.
So focus a bit on Red Crescent Day, isn't it? What date is it exactly?
8th May.
8th of May.
Yes.
What's the theme, this year's theme?
On the side of humanity.
Why? Why was it chosen?
This year's theme was well calculated, knowing fully well that the world has turned. Humanitarians or AIDS workers have been killed in different countries. So that is why we are supposed to come back as a society to look at what happened and to safeguard also the volunteers who are sacrificing their life without being paid, to just being able to at least help those people who are vulnerable. We are living in a world that has a lot of crises. We are living in a world where volunteers sacrifice just to go out informing your parents that you are going to support, you are going to serve without being paid. At the end of the day, your parents just to hear that, or the people just to hear that you have been killed at the time you are offering those humanitarian service that you are offering, when you are supposed to be protected by the international humanitarian law and the Geneva Convention. So that is the reason why this theme is very timely, because just a few months ago, over 9 people were killed in Gaza. 9 volunteers were killed in Gaza. Those volunteers were offering aid to the most vulnerable.
Absolutely, yes. One can imagine in places like Gaza, the threats really range against you. But I wonder, in the Gambia here, in times of crisis, stuff that you've covered, what kind of challenges do you face on the ground?
Yes, most of the challenges that we face, they are normal challenges that each and every Gambian face. Mostly, the challenges maybe one of them will be maybe the society that we live in, to that extent. Red Cross, it's given that due, but not everyone recognizes the Red Cross. Sometimes it's challenges, in as much as the Red Cross is recognized, but sometimes the time frame that the Red Cross is invited and where we are expected to be, to that extent, sometimes it's difficult, because in other times, in as much as we want to, but then we have shortage of resources to be able to go there. For example, during rainy season, and in some times, you notice that we don't have those protective measures to be able to reach to those places that we are supposed to be. Because in as much as we want to expose all our volunteers, but not all our volunteers also have those materials to be able to go from one place to another, to be able to support the most vulnerable. So that is also something.
So
that
who
affects
founded the Red Cross and the Red Crescent Day?
The Red Cross and Red Crescent was founded by Sir Henry Donald. He was the founder of the Red Cross during the Battle of Salvarino that occurred in 1859. Moving forward in 1859, then he wrote a book publicized in 1862, book called A Memory of Salvarino. He made 2 recommendations in his book. One of the recommendations was the establishment of relief societies, that is national societies, which of course led to the establishment of the Gambia Red Cross Society. And the others was the creation of regulation, that is international humanitarian law, that will protect those volunteers who serve humanities. Yeah, so this is how. This year, the World Red Cross and Red Crescent Day, it's celebrating its 162 anniversary this year. Under the principles also, we are, this year in October, we will celebrate the 60th anniversary of the 7 fundamental principles of the Red Cross and Red Crescent movement that govern the movement. Under the Gambian perspective, because the Gambian Red Cross Society was a branch under the British, but Gambia Red Cross Society is supposed to, it's in its 59 years as a Red Cross Society, under the Gambia Red Cross Society. Yeah.
So what's the difference between the Red Cross and the Red Crescent Day? What are they different?
No, the Red Cross, it's just a single movement. What happened is a different emblem that were, when the Red Cross emblem was basically came to being, what happened is, it's just a division between part of because the Red Cross mostly people associated with what we call Christianity to that extent, even though it is not. So the Red Crescent also people, because it basically have the symbol of the moon to that extent. It's also, some people also associated to what we call to a Muslim version, but that is not the entire truth behind all those things. So, but then all that was just to bring the entire Red Cross together, for it to be one united body, one global body that will basically work towards ensuring that we have what we call one Red Cross, one united, that works to ensure that we serve humanity without any form of discrimination. That is why we have our 7 fundamental principles. From the humanity, we are supposed to do everything that we do humanly without expecting anything in return. We have what we call the principle of neutrality. At the time we are serving, we are supposed to be neutral. We are not supposed to take sides from whatever we are doing. We also have what we call impartiality. We are not either a particular individual or the color of a particular individual. It's not supposed to matter. We just serve the most vulnerable and the most affected. From there, we look at all the 7 fundamental until where we are supposed to be united together as one Red Cross and Red Crescent across. That is why we said Red Cross, the principle universality is important. That is what we mean by the Red Cross is universal all over. And every country have one Red Cross society. Gambia, we cannot have KM Red Cross branch and or URR Red Cross branch. We have only one Gambia Red Cross society. And all other 7 branches within the country are all under the Gambia Red Cross Society. The Gambia Red Cross Society is the parent body of all other Red Cross branches within which Cardiff municipality branch also is under the Gambia Red Cross branch. Yeah.
Yes. I want to explore something, volunteering. Do we have that culture? How is the state of volunteering in this society?
In Cardiff municipality, volunteering is something that people take with pride. They are not paid, but the moment you call volunteers, every time the volunteers will show up. A clerical example happened during the cleansing exercise we conducted sometimes. We requested 500 volunteers. That was what we request under KM. But the turnout was over around 1,000 volunteers came. Others were like, we are not invited, but because of it's voluntary, we have to come. We are supposed to be there because we are not paid, but we like doing it. They love doing it. Recently, from one night that we conducted also, over thousands of volunteers came across the country just to celebrate the commemoration of the World Red Cross Day. So these are some of the things that volunteers do without being paid.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder, for instance, what were the driving reasons for you to volunteer, really? The motivation for you to volunteer?
Yes, for me, I see life in volunteering. Sometimes you do something, people ask you, but you cannot tell them why you are doing it. But you feel happy, you feel motivated. You feel that I am doing this because I am alive. For the fact that I am serving, I can put a smile on a particular individual. That alone makes sense to me. It makes sense that I am making somebody be happy. If they are happy, if I go home, sleep, I will also be happy. That is what drives a lot of volunteers. And that is what continues driving volunteers to serving humanity.
That's it, to give back something.
So imagine you are in a flood affected area. I mean, how does the Red Cross intervene and support?
The Red Cross intervene in different matters. If you talk about floods, it's important for you to understand that whether the particular individual who is there have the knowledge to support. Where you don't have the knowledge, then that is the time you call the relevant stakeholders to come and support. Flooding goes in a different way. The first thing that we do is if we have the resources, if we don't, then we'll collaborate with government stakeholders to ensure that we relocate those particular individuals until when it's safe. For example, what happened in Banjul sometimes back, when the flooding occurred, the Red Cross intervened, working of course, they work with the National Disaster Management to ensure that at least they relocate those people. When they were safe, then the Red Cross supported relocations, and then we also supported providing certain sanitary materials that they need for the time. So that is what the Red Cross can do because the Red Cross is an auxiliary to the Ministry of Health. And the Red Cross is also here to basically support the government in terms of some of these things. In as much as we are independent in our dealing, but at the end of the day, we are established by an act of a parliament. That means that we cannot do anything that is not in line with the laws of this country.
So what values can we learn from Red Cross?
There are a lot of values that can be learned from the Red Cross. Most of those values that I will take, I will just rely them under the 7 fundamental principles that we have. Red Cross is guided by values called principles. The principles are what govern us. That is, one of the principles is that in Red Cross we are impartial. In as much as you are a Red Cross volunteer, you don't say anything. You don't basically say no to anything. You don't say yes to anything. You support the most vulnerable. Even though your family is affected, but if there is another person who is the most vulnerable, you support those people, not your family. But in Red Cross, we assess on need base. We don't just go just like that to support. We assess on need base. There is something that is very important that we are doing this time around. That is, we are also having, from 2018 to date, there is this youth Red Cross gathering that we have. That is the youth Bantaba. This time around, we are going the International Youth Bantaba from 2018 to date. The International Youth Bantaba's aim is to bring about over 500 young people within and outside the jurisdiction of this country to converge together and then come so that we reorient ourselves about the movement, about the things that we have been doing, so that we come together, we come together, celebrate the achievements that we have done, learn and relearn some of the cultures and values that governs the Red Cross movement.
Mm-hmm. So how was the day celebrated? What happened? Who were the guest speakers? Tell us about the activities before we close this program.
Yes, the activities of this year's World Red Cross Day. First, we had a training on soft skill training, where we train our volunteers how to make some of these soft skills. For example, mirror decorations and book decoration. That is how we started on the 3rd and 4th of May. Fast forward on the 7th, that is World Red Cross Day Eve. We have a flambeau night and a campfire, where we had a parade from Tabokoto to the Kanifi Municipal Red Cross branch located in Bundong around the East Park. That is where we conducted the campfire. It was a well attended event where we have the president of the Gambia Red Cross Society was there, the secretary, and all other dignitaries were there, together with the National Assembly member of Bundonga also was there. So all those people were in attendance. So moving forward, we also celebrated the World Red Cross Day proper on the 10th on the 10th, because the Gambia Red Cross Society had a specific day they celebrate, that is on the 8th. So as a branch, there was a need for us to celebrate it on the 10th. So the activities, the most significant activities that were conducted were the panel discussions. We are invited the like of Dr. Bitey. Dr. Bitey has been in the Red Cross since his childhood. So now he is the Chief Medical Director of the Ministry of Health.
Medical Health.
Yes, Chief Medical Director of Ministry of Health. So he was in attendance. So we also have the Vice President of the Gambia Red Cross Society, together with our chairpersons. All those people were in attendance. So moving forward, the most interesting were the poetry competitions, of course, under the theme on the side of humanity by school links. Red Cross we have different. We have community links and school links. On the KM, we have 12 community links. So they just go 12 community link perform on have cultural performance. Others fullers, others perform, others perform manjago, others nar, of course, others different ethnic groups. It was a colorful activities where all volunteers came to celebrate. They were happy because it was their day. It is meant for them to celebrate. That is why they celebrate it to that extent. As a branch, we are grateful to have all those volunteer base. Whenever we call on the volunteers, even on time of emergencies, they always respond. Sometimes we just call accidentally. This is what happened. We are supposed to respond within some time frame. You just call, volunteers will just rush to be there. Sometimes they will not have fare, but they would rush to be there. They will come and say, I walk from this place to this place.
To get to that place.
Venue.
All right, interesting. So thank you very much, Mr. Mamoudou Mbodj. I think we've exhausted all that we wanted to ask Mr. Gay. So thank you. So if you want to be part of Red Cross, what do you do?
It's free.
It's
you can
free.
work.
Oh, no fee attached.
It's free. Everyone can be a volunteer. Either you are as young as you are, as old as you are, as busy as you are. You can always be a volunteer. Yes, you can move to any branch or any link for you to be a volunteer.
Oh, wow.
And nobody would discriminate you.
Nice, nice. All right. So what is your relation with other branches across the country?
We have a cordial relationship with other branches. We communicate. Sometimes we engage. Sometimes we speak and then discuss on how to implement certain activities. In fact, the past activity that I just tell you, we had people from West Coast all over, Banjul. People cross all the way from North Bank just to come to and attend our flamboyant night.
Okay.
That means that we have that connection. Remember, we are one Red Cross. So that is why we all do everything together. Yeah, that's just, for example, the Bantaba that I tell you. All the Red Cross, all the branches will come together. Every branch will bring about 60 participants to participate in the in the Bantaba.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Gay. Thank you very much. And we hope to engage you again.
Yes.
Another time.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Momodu Mboj, this is all we have today, and we'll be back here tomorrow again. Until we come here again, have a wonderful day. Enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye.